Welcome to Single Tree Nation. I'm your man, Charlie Eblin, the host and owner of Single Tree Woodfire BBQ. We are here to build community through undeniable hospitality, storytelling, and the perfect plate of barbecue.
How are you?
Welcome back to Single Tree Nation, guys. This is the second time that we've started this episode. I'm your man, Charlie Eblin. And as always, our illustrious co-host, Mr. Derry Wells, is joining us today.
What is up, everybody? Got your keys put away?
You put keys. Right, I put mine on the table so I didn't sit on them.
Mine are on the floor.
Just in case for our people not in our studio audience. We just had an alarm go off right behind us that really kind of
Threw us for a loop.
ruined the beginning of the show, but that's okay. We can start over.
Killed the mood.
So, killed the mood. Look, so today, guys, we have a absolutely killer guest. I met him a year and a half ago, a little bit ago. He is what I would call a fellow barbecue enthusiast. We dabble in doing a little cooking.
Slightly,
just a little bit. So Matt, I'm not going to introduce you. I'm going to let you introduce yourself.
Heard.
But Matt Osman has joined our show, and why don't you tell everybody who you are, what you do, and what you don't do.
Fair enough. Well, I appreciate it. Thanks for having me on the show.
Of course.
Let's start with the don'ts first. I don't do donuts in the middle of the intersection. I don't cook fine Italian cuisine. And I don't go to sleep before about 12:30, 1 o'clock in the morning, most days. So that's some of the don'ts. I do make Nashville's finest Nashville hot mojo pork, a recipe that I kind of came up. I do own and operate Blinky's Offset Barbecue, which is a food truck in West Nashville, Bellevue area specifically. I do have 2 kids, a beautiful wife, and I do always root for Miami sports teams, except the Predators. Preds fan.
Well, we won't hold Miami against you.
No, it's okay. Hey, you can take the boy out of Miami, just not the Miami out of the boy. So, I get it honestly.
I love it. So we got a lot to unpack.
Yes.
And so why don't you take us back to, you're from Miami.
Born and raised,
right? So let's go back to Miami, out of high school, college, etc. Now we're doing what?
So out of high school, I was one of those who didn't go to college. I got my college degree, my 4-year degree from School of Hard Knocks, whatever you want to.
Yeah.
My parents did well. We were very blessed as a family. And so my parents had invested in mutual funds and stuff for a college fund. Now, I'm the youngest of 4. It's my oldest sister, my brother, my sister, and I. They had gone the collegiate route. Whether you call it reading the tea leaves, I didn't want to go that route. But my old man was like, you're not going to not do anything. So got a job that I had throughout high school, which was in it was a smoothie place. They sold sandwiches and wraps and stuff like that. Well, growing up, my parents had owned Subway franchises. And they had some success with them. This is back before Subway was, quote, Subway. They had some here in Nashville, some in Miami and other places. Anyway, I knew at the time food and beverage was part of like what our family did, but I didn't like it at the time. Took the funds that my old man had, got his permission, and we opened up an industry that I haven't been in since this time, bought a Line-X franchise, Line-X spray on bed liners. So got into the truck accessory type.
Yeah.
Ran Line-X in Miami with my brother for 4.5 years, and then the recession hit in like 08, 09, 10. So if you remember what gas was, because that product is petroleum based, we kind of hit the skids. We were privately funded and this. Again, I don't have a degree because I didn't go to college, so you get massive layoffs and people. I needed to move because, as I have been told, I was was getting in trouble a lot. I was tired of going to jail is really what it was.
Yeah.
And my brothers and sisters had moved up.
Good reason to get some new friends.
I was tired of going to jail. Like, somebody was like, no, I like going.
Yeah,
like,
well, I mean, you do it a couple times, you get used to it. You kind of, but
Miami's bed and breakfast, baby.
yeah, that's right. And so I needed to slow down. I moved to Nashville in 2010. Just in time. I'll never forget, it was February 22nd. I moved with a buddy of mine. I was like, hey, I'm moving to Nashville. You want to come with me? He's like, for real? I said, yeah. So we stopped in Central Florida.
You joined the army. Hey, you want to? Yeah, let's go.
Let's do it.
That's how it worked out for me.
I had a, quote, safety net. I moved into my brother's basement at the time. Like, I knew where and what I was going, but I didn't have a job.
Sure.
You know? Got a job at the Renaissance Hotel downtown, and it was at May 2nd, May 9th or whatever, the flood hit.
Yep.
So I had just moved to Nashville. I'm like, okay, so 40 goes here, 65. Like, I'm learning, and natural disaster. I was actually out of town that weekend that it hit. I was with my brother in the Panhandle of Florida. We were picking up furniture and stuff like this, and, you know, get all these calls, plane, trains, automobiles. I could not get back to work. You couldn't get back in. So I moved just in time to get acclimated to the Nashville, the Middle Tennessee community in time for the flood. So that's, you know, where this part of the story begins. You guys are going to love this next part. Fast forward from there. So the youngest of four, my oldest sister's married. At that time, my brother was engaged and then got married. And my next youngest sister was dating a guy. So they had gone to grad school and law school together. I'm still at the hotel hanging out, and my sister gets married to the guy. She, you know, gets engaged, and they're from Texas. And so I had seen, you know, I had a Facebook account, like, he had a sister. And, you know, it's the big welcome party. She's introducing him to us, and, well, you know, we're from Miami and they're from Texas, and so there's got to be like some differences and
some
things
cultural,
like easily
Cultural separation.
So my sister kind of to me, and then unbeknownst to me at the time, my then brother-in-law to his younger sister is like, you know, just be careful because, you know, she's got a younger brother and you're like, you guys will probably be firing gas together. So let's not do that. And that's how I met my wife.
I was gonna say I knew where this is going. So that's perfect.
I love that.
I actually met him the weekend.
They wanted to keep y'all apart. Like, this is not gonna go well together.
But oh, by the way,
like a
here's
moth
where
to a flame.
I had met my brother-in-law just before the weekend he graduated from college. And at that time, I had an opportunity to go skydiving with my grandmother, or I could go to his graduation. And I was like, that's a no-brainer to me. No offense, you're going to be in the family, but skydiving with a grandma,
right?
That's a once in a life. We scheduled it. That's what we were going to do. I missed the graduation. Inclement weather. We didn't end up doing the jump, which sucks. But that night, they came back and we had dinner, and that's where I met her. And so I get to tell people now, especially like kind of some people that know all of us or know our family, like I'll point at my sister and be like, hey, have you guys met my sister-in-law? And they kind of look at me like you guys are looking now. And you're like, wait, what? No, that's your... And I'm like, yeah, this is my sister-in-law. And we just smiled.
That's outstanding.
She is.
Right, yeah.
By marriage, she's my sister-in-law.
Right.
That is outstanding.
So
great.
siblings married siblings, and our family married into a Texas family. And that's kind of where the barbecue type stuff comes.
Yeah.
But there's a little gap there. Although my passion, enthusiast for barbecue, with my eldest sister, I got the opportunity to open up a salad restaurant that was in the Brentwood area, Maryland Farms. It was a concept from Miami, and it's a franchise. We bought into it, but you know, things didn't go the way that it was, especially for Brentwood, and fresh ingredients and lots of chopped tomatoes and things like that. And when you are up against it with produce demand, it's tough. It's tough to stay afloat.
Yeah.
Produce doesn't have a long shelf life.
No, it does
when
not.
When it's chopped up. But fast forward, we closed down that business, and I got into barbecue. Had a little stint with Cracker
So
Barrel.
when was this?
Then I quote unquote officially started barbecuing.
So like you closed down
The shop in 2018, 2019.
Okay.
And that's to say that I kind of started the business because
Okay.
I've been a backyard cook.
Yeah,
Right?
yeah,
Like I showed you guys my
You cooked your first brisket in
2017. Yes.
November 4th.
As a way to impress my wife.
And it was phenomenal, wasn't
It was phenomenally red and pink. Yes, it was. And that,
If that had been a smoke ring all the way through it, you'd
that
have
would
been
have been. Well, but I don't even know if that would have been like, oh man, that's some green smoke. That like, ooh.
Yeah, that's true.
I don't even know if like a green mesquite would do that.
Yeah, I don't know. That'd been gnarly.
But it just, I got into it because I used to grill. I mean, I could cook an entire dinner on the grill, right? Like
Yeah.
grilling,
Yeah.
I had down, but smoking is different. And I mean, you maybe had done some indirect chicken or something like that, but not the big meats, you know. And you know, you guys remember your first pork butt that you could sink your fingers into, and you're like, it's this aha moment, like when something's tender, when it's rendered down.
I don't remember the first one. I remember the first bad one. The first one that I went to pull the bone and it wouldn't pull.
Yeah, and you have to like,
But everybody's expecting to eat in 30 minutes, and you're sitting there with a knife just cutting off whatever you can, and it's not edible, and it's awful, and you're like, well,
Which-
like, let's.
man, I know.
All your friends are being nice, going,
That's right.
man, this is really
Yeah,
good.
that's
Right?
That's exactly right.
Hey, all free barbecue.
You're all liars because this is awful.
Yeah. You know better. For sure.
And
Smile, say thanks.
not to
Appreciate
jump
it,
ahead,
guys.
but bless the people's hearts. Like my little test kitchen for all my neighbors and friends. Like as I was coming up with my menu, like, dude, I can't tell you how many pork butts I did to get what my flavor profile was. I mean, it had to be over 50. And it's like, hey, try
yeah.
this. Because you change one thing at a time.
Yeah.
And
You start changing multiple things, and then you don't know what change was what you wanted.
Right.
But to your point, back to about the one being bad, I think that's a huge hurdle to get over is the rest.
Oh, yeah.
That's probably
So
why.
I got a question
Yeah.
for you. But before we do that, we're gonna take a quick break, and we'll be right back. What's going on, guys? I'm your man, Charlie Eblin, the owner of Single Tree Barbecue, located right here in Murfreesboro, Tennessee, 2805 Old Fort Parkway. We're open Tuesday through Saturday from 11 until 8 p.m. and on Sundays from 11 to 3. If you want some smoked wings all the way to some Texas-style smoked brisket, y'all come see us. We have some amazing lunch specials during the week and outstanding barbecue right here in the Middle Tennessee area. We can't wait to see you guys. So before the break, I asked you, or was going to ask you, back in 17, you cooked that brisket. Mm-hmm. What did you cook that brisket on?
It was a Brinkman grill, probably, I don't know, 36, 42 inches.
Okay.
Had kind of a octagon-ish, but it was just a Brinkman grill.
Yeah.
And, had done an indirect coal. And, of course, I soaked my wood chips in water at the time because I had to.
Yeah.
I cannot tell you the moment of joy when I realized I didn't have a thick, billowing smoke rolling out of my cooker. I was mad. I was like, this is so dumb. It's not going to get enough smoke flavor. Oh, it definitely was getting, I mean, all the smoke. Yeah. But those little aha moments along your journey, but if you keep at it, you realize. But yes, I cooked it indirect on a Brinkman grill.
I wonder how many, because the first time I ever tried to smoke anything was I actually tried to smoke chicken wings on a grill and did it indirect. Same thing, soaked the wood chips forever, and they came out tasting like kerosene.
Yeah,
they were awful because just like you, I was like, ooh, it's got to have all this smoke coming out. That's what's gonna make it taste good.
Oh, I got fancy. Nope. When I officially got like my first offset, which was char griller or something, I even extended the stack because I'd read stuff online that you needed a taller smokestack, and so I would take foil and try to give it an extra 10, 12 inches of a stack.
That's what she said.
It was.
Is that a lie?
He ain't wrong.
Oh man, I mean, I tried to do. I burnt the side of our house in my cooking journey.
Like that's
Yeah, we put it out. Actually, a volunteer firefighter was over for dinner, a buddy of ours, and we put it out with a 2-liter Dr. Pepper and Mountain Dew bottles. But I'm talking about like the vinyl siding of a hat. I had a hot pan that I'd been cooking on.
It's outstanding.
And put it on a bag of charcoal excess that I had over there that was leaned up against the house.
Yeah.
And just the radiant heat, like straight from the grill onto the bag of charcoal. Dinner was done. Of course, it's like 11:30 at night.
Oh, dinner was done.
Yeah. And I'll never forget, like, I was sitting at the table. We had sliding glass doors that looked out to the porch. And you could smell that. And I tell my wife all the time, like, when I'm cooking, I can't smell if something's right at this point. But I can tell you when something's wrong, like immediately. Right. But I could smell something, and everybody's like, I just jumped up. And they're like, what? So our daughter, we have a son and daughter. She was maybe 6 months old at this time. She's in our bedroom, and that area was right behind the master bedroom. She's in our bedroom, like asleep on the bed or the crib or something, and that side of the house is on fire. I mean, it's like a 6-foot flame. There was about a bag of charcoal size hole burned into the side of the house with the siding and insulation. And
Man,
I mean, but
War stories of barbecuers.
But this is part of the journey, right?
It's part of learning.
If you don't stop there,
my journey was my dog drinking the Coors Light after that I sat on the ground, not burning down half my house though. I set a can down one time. Next thing I know, the little bit that's in the rim, he's wearing it out. I'm like, what are you doing? Like,
not everybody learns the same things
obviously
at the same
different
time.
paths.
Yeah, I mean, you can take a left or a right. It's okay.
oh man,
One of these days, you're going to catch something on fire.
I've caught stuff on fire.
Just not the house.
just not the house. So
Well,
Well, look,
thankfully, fingers crossed.
I've caught my house on fire too. It's okay.
also within that offset, when I was a little bit more progressive, so there was like part of the pillar of that patio, and for space saving, I had that firebox like inches away from the pillar. And so this was post-fire, after a while I noticed that facade just completely like warping and melting.
I did.
From the firebox.
Gosh.
And that baffle right there, man. I burned up easily 3 $200 offsets at your big box store type brands before I was like, okay, this is another crossroads. Like, am I really going into this? Is it worth? And that's, when I get what I call, quote, my, first big boy pit, my laying, because there's a difference.
That's the one. That's what's on your truck,
Yeah.
right? Yeah. It's a super nice pit.
That's Black Betty.
Super nice pit.
And look,
So you brought up Black Betty, which I already knew the name, but I gotta continue to. We gotta educate the world on Blinkies. So your colors are like neon blue, baby blue, and pink.
yes,
And the name of your business
Blinky's
is
Offset
Blinky's Offset
Barbecue.
But your name is Matt.
Correct.
So
He's got a fashionable sense.
Where does the blue and the pink and the neon and all that stuff come from? Because like your logo is really cool, kind of retro
It pops,
80s Miami Vice kind of
Correct.
feel.
So from that, right? And if anybody who's seen the trailer or a social post or whatever, the graphics on the trailer are extremely loud and annoying and busy, and it's indicative of its owner. I wanted to.
I love it.
To make sure that I didn't give any preconceived notions of like.
Y'all knew what y'all's getting into. That's what.
And when people are driving down the road, what should they look for if they're trying to find you?
I mean, somebody to
don't you
cut
have,
them off with
well,
a
don't
middle
you have
finger.
something like really big that's waving at everybody?
So that's Floppy Pete. Yeah.
Floppy Pete.
So Floppy Pete is which he, when Floppy Pete comes back, because he's been in hibernation, he might actually have his own social page or something, because there's
there's
been enough people who have asked about, like, they want a story and a timeline. They want to know his wife's name. Like, they want a background on Flappy Pete. But Floppy Pete's
What's wrong with getting him a girlfriend?
Floppy Maria.
Hey, fill me the ignorant end. Who is Floppy Pete?
It's a wacky flailing in the arms guy.
Okay, all right then. I was like,
What's this big? What do you call those things? What's the name of the
windsock or
yeah?
Yeah, I'm with it now.
Yeah. Well,
he had the motion down,
Yeah,
like I
yeah.
knew what it was.
So I said, when I set up, I put Floppy Pete on top of the trailer.
I'm with it now. All
because
right. I was a step behind.
Yeah,
So,
just like it's again the business of like, whoa, hold on, what it's something, just really grabbing somebody's, and that's what I tell people all the time. Oh, I'll get your attention. Yeah. Like if there's one thing I'm good at, it's going out and getting somebody's attention, because that's just how I'm built.
We got stories about attention. I got a good one. Almost not probably 10, 11 months ago, but we'll talk about that in a second. So the name of your business is Blinky.
Blinky's Offset. So Blinky came from friends of mine, nickname, if you will. I blink a lot. It's not Tourette's. It's not what it is. I've been to optometrist and psychologist, and I've had scan. In essence, my father kind of has a tic, and he blinks often. I say I blink a lot. He blinks often. Everybody is like, there's no real medical, but if you're telling us that, and I'll show them like a video or something, they're like, it could be a learned behavior from your parents. Now, my sister, my brother, my other sister did not get it, but I, the youngest, for whatever reason, did pick it up.
That's hilarious.
Now, I feel bad for most everybody who ever meets me, because especially when I meet somebody for the very first time, it's like 49 seconds in. If we're having a face-to-face conversation, they kind of tilt their head. And they're like, and if they're with somebody who's like a good friend, I've spotted 100 times. If they're with somebody, they kind of like, she blinking a lot. like I can tell. And so as soon as they do that, because they pick up on it, I'm just like, don't worry. Everybody notices it. It's just a tick. They're like, oh, okay. And
bro, like
I feel dumb that I didn't pair it with the name. Like I was like, I should have done. Like I'm usually on to stuff like that,
but I don't know. Like, how do you keep a straight face? Because like when somebody, I mean, for me,
I'd rip it up.
Look, people
do
do
you
that
have a problem? Is that
people do that to me all the time. They look at me like that. I get the same look, but like I don't blink a lot. And my question is always, what?
I'm trying to figure you out.
Something wrong?
I mean, it's something that it doesn't bother me.
Sure.
But I know that it bothers, or it's noticeable to other people.
You got to run with that sometimes. And, absolutely. You got to run with that.
It's great.
Especially in, like, again, first time scenarios, first time meetings, if it's like something somber or something kind of meek and peaceful. And here I am just like rapid blinking. They're like, what's this guy on? I'm like, nothing. It's just part of who I am. Like, I'm sorry.
The complete opposite of this. Have y'all seen any of the steals from the inauguration with Bush?
Oh, yes.
And all that, like, when you go somewhere and realize you shouldn't have took that edible beforehand. And I'm telling you, his eyes when he's like, hey, like it kicks in. I don't partake of those things, but I have plenty of friends in my circles that do, and I'm telling you, if I could have taken that,
oh man,
and like and superimposed it, I was dying. I mean, I wanted
my favorite one that I've heard so far,
crying from laughing so hard,
was somebody superimposed a voiceover.
Yeah,
and it's him thinking.
Oh gosh. Oh gosh.
Well, listen, the
I can't wait. I can't wait until someone smells this fart. And then he kind of rocks back, and his eyes get big, and he starts smiling.
The takeaways from that thing with this, like Zuckerberg looking at
that was
Bezos.
Holy cow! I saw a caption on that. Clay Travis he said, "Even Zuck likes boobs now. America is so back." Like, it was like,
Well, and then you had Doug, whatever the
Imhoff or whatever, yeah.
and Clinton both looking at Carrie Underwood. They're like, and Imhoff like licks his lips or something.
It was the weird head moves so that they could get a better view.
Yes,
it wasn't a glance as she walked by. Like they both kind of did the lean with it, and I was like, "Oh gosh, you got
it's
busted
out there, man."
And it is hysterical.
Yeah.
I mean, it's so much fun. Like it, I love when celebrities or politicians like when they look like regular humans.
So
and in that moment, they did.
Theo Vaughn's chair broke.
That was great.
It is right next to what's the fighter guy?
The Pauls.
Yes.
The Paul brothers.
Oh, I didn't know that.
He blamed it on them. He said they rigged the chair so that he'd do it. So
I mean, I believe that.
Well, they were on the bus over there together heading to the inauguration, and they're back and forth like boys do, like at the end of the bus. And he kind of did a little sharp zinger towards one of them, like, "Hey, careful with the mom in the back or whatever," because it was one of them's mom or somebody's mom that was with him, whatever. And so that was kind of, he's like, they did it. They had to do it, But there's a still photo of him. He's on the ground looking up like, and just celebrities being regular people. And it's kind of refreshing. But anyway, I don't even know how we got on this part, but you're blinking and Bush was the opposite of that. So
That's hilarious.
But yeah, I named it Blinky's Offset, and I put Offset in there intentionally. One, because everybody loves things in threes, right? Blinky's Offset barbecue. Two, down the road when I, hopefully make it big like Single Tree and whatnot, I'll have a marketing firm, and the acronym is Bob.
I was going to say there.
So I have a lot of avenues with that. And then more importantly, I wanted people to know that their barbecue is cooked on an offset.
Yeah.
And I have had several people, and this is the reason, what is offset? What is offset barbecue? I'm glad you asked, we get to tell them, like, hey, this is what, this is how, this is when, and here's the reason I chose to cook your barbecue on this cooker in this fashion. It is different.
1,000%. Yeah. Well, that's why mine is wood fire barbecue, not wood fired barbecue.
Correct.
There's a difference.
There is. Absolutely.
You can cook with all wood and fire,
which,
or you can do wood fired and have gas assisted.
I've been asked before. I don't know if I have a slogan, a wood fire. Like, I think I've said real Southern barbecue or real wood fire or something.
Oh, you want to know what mine's turned into?
What?
Tastes like chicken. So it's I'll tell you the joke. I'm walking through, it happened, long before I started my own brand. But I'm walking through a restaurant, and one that I'm managing, and I go up to a table and somebody's eating something. And how is everything? Mm-hmm. Oh, it's great. And it's like a steak or a pork chop or something. Not chicken.
Not poultry, yeah.
And I said, does it taste like chicken? And they died laughing. And because I was being funny.
Sure.
And so ever since then, that's kind of like a tagline. When I walk up to a table, everything good?
Yeah.
Tastes like chicken? And whether they're eating chicken or not, I don't care. It's just a joke.
Yeah.
So when you walk in my restaurant, I got a board. You know how 17th Street's got that reader board out front? Mm-hmm. I got one when you walk in the restaurant. And it says, tastes like chicken. Because they've heard me say it so much, they've changed the sign.
In there, and he's going to get upset. I can't believe he served me beef and asked if it tastes like chicken. Yeah,
tastes like chicken.
Be somebody.
Yeah. Everything tastes like chicken. So, yeah.
I think I've said stuff like that. And when you're touching tables or like, chili tastes like chili. Like, but I like it.
Yeah. Tastes like chicken.
Yeah, shirts made up.
Not yet. I'm in the process of designing them, actually.
So
they'll be on sale next week.
I want to, you heard it here first. Nobody take this. And it might already be out there, but based off my research. For those in the know, those enthusiasts, I want to put some cowbell behind shirts that read, or a hash, the things we do for barbecue. Because we all have hours and weeks and stories that at the end of it, That's what the things we do for barbecue.
And $20, $20. I mean, like, you know, that's just like, wow. It gets you playing barbecue. Like,
Definitely get you some sausage.
like, wow. Okay.
Maybe some sauce
There you
too.
go. Man. All right. I mean, euphemisms you throw in one deal. There you go.
Oh man.
Oh, I love that. That's outstanding. All right, so I got to take it back. Before we go to mac and beans, I got to tell a quick story about one of my first in-person interactions with Blinky's Offset Pits.
All right.
So last year, I decided that I was going to do a barbecue competition. Cool. No big deal. I signed up for this little barbecue comp in Lebanon. It's not too big.
Killer ribs, right? Yeah, that's right one.
Yep.
Yeah.
Shh. Telling a story, don't ruin it
Wasn't ruining it.
with your playful banter. So
I'm just trying to recall which competition it was. That's awesome.
yeah.
Just
So I pull up to this show in Lebanon, and I'm thinking, okay, we're in Lebanon, Tennessee. It's going to be a little small show. I did one a couple months prior in Huntsville that, wasn't that big, either. So it's probably going to be about the same.
Which, by the way, you pull up with your gigantic, hey, look at me.
It's a 1,000
gallon
pit.
offset on a trailer.
Everybody's got, 120, 250 gallon pits. And I show up with my 1,000-gallon blue whale.
Okay, so let's set the actual scene.
But I pull up. It's what I got. Like I don't have a 250 that I can
Rightfully
bring. So, but it's the third largest barbecue competition in the country.
okay. There you go.
I didn't know that. I would have never in a million years signed up.
You thought you was just getting something local to save on gas.
Yeah,
exactly.
Like I'm pulling up, going, all right, cool. Here we go. All right, we're gonna do something. I got a couple of Wagyu briskets and some chicken. Let's make it happen. Pork butts. Let's go. No. There's like 5 competitions before the competition starts, and I had no clue about.
He's trimming at like 9 o'clock on Friday.
I'm like, oh God, I don't know what I'm gonna do. And so, long story short, Matt is literally across from me. Okay, we're 30 feet away from each other.
Right.
I'm one of the last people to get there because I got stuck at the restaurant earlier that day. So I couldn't get there early and get parked and set up. So I'm trying to back my 24-foot smoker into a slot with everybody jammed up next to me. So it's like a 30-point turn. Anyway, long story short, everybody gets ready. They start doing their thing. They have the rib burn, the turkey smoke, the desserts, all the smaller comps, right? And all of those go.
Oh, it was a terrible.
Okay. He keeps coming over and he's giving me, stuff afterwards. Like once turn-in's done, you can't do anything before turn-in's done. Once you get turn-in, then somebody can try it. So he's giving me these things. Bro gives me these ribs and I'm like, whoa, 4-letter, 5-letter, 6-letter, 3-letter words.
Adjectives.
Yes. beat, beat. And I'm like, man, I'm screwed. So I start.
That's when the realization set in, didn't it?
Yeah.
Man.
So I start getting, I get inspected. Everything start trimming. I don't get to start smoking until, I don't even think I started smoking until like 10 o'clock that night.
Yeah.
11 o'clock, something like that. Now I cook larger briskets than I probably should. One is inexperience and 2 is preference.
More meat to work with.
That's literally exactly my logic. So Matt comes over the next day, but we'll get to that. We'll get with a postage stamp brisket.
Yeah.
He said, how big's your brisket? And I showed him, and he goes, oh, mine's like this.
Yeah.
And for those of you who can't see this, it's like 4x4.
6 slices, baby.
Yeah.
6 slices.
It was tiny. So,
And I love that brisket at that comp, man. It was because I
look good.
well, I cook primes. It's like a vendetta. This year I'm probably going to go to Wags, but I knew a prime could place well. Unfortunately, the best I've gotten is 13th with a prime, but I just was more out to prove a point than anything. And to be fair, I like thumb through.
Do you remember what your brisket placed in that comp?
I don't. I mean, we could look it up, but I'm going to guess it was 30 or 40th for sure. Like, smokeless.
Well, I used a Wagyu and it didn't place that high.
Yeah, I have.
I can tell you that right now.
It's going to change this year. It's coming up in March. I've never had a call at Smoke on the Shores.
All right, so we'll get to that in a second. Okay. I smoke overnight because I like to rest my brisket a really long time in comparison to most people.
Yeah.
Most people don't rest the way I rest brisket, which is fine, is what it is, just a personal preference. There's no right or wrong way with barbecue. We all do things differently. So I get done cooking my brisket, and it's 4, maybe
Yeah.
4:30, something along those lines.
And she
Okay.
like start turning on.
And everybody else is starting to get up. Okay. It's time for me to take a nap. So I crawl up in my truck, turn it on. This is March.
Right.
It's still chilly.
Right. Right.
Right. And I'm not sitting by the fire anymore.
Right.
That's done. So I'm going to go get in the truck. So I start the truck up, get warm, turn the truck off. I just get comfy. Lean back. You remember when Robin Williams said, "Good morning, Vietnam"?
Yeah. 30 feet
30
from you,
feet
eat your
away
rooster.
from me.
That's exactly right.
When the bell rings and it's no more quiet time.
Right.
Matt, I don't think I've ever heard somebody yell that loud in my life.
That is
And
fantastic.
for that long. I mean, dude, how long? What do you?
It's
3 minutes, maybe.
Hang on,
No, it's
hang on.
not.
I'm going to go back. He started this whole conversation with, I can get your attention.
Yeah.
I will get your attention.
That's why I chuckled when he said that, because I knew I was going to tell this story.
That's right.
it's kind of a habit. The pit's name is Black Betty, so of course, and it's usually 7 a.m. at most competitions is longer quiet time.
Right.
So I may or may not have an alarm that goes off with my Bluetooth speaker. I typically do a live, and it's what I call Black Betty time.
All right.
Because by 7 a.m. for my timeline, I'm usually, ribs are almost going to be wrapped. Brisket is almost middle and is probably already wrapped. Pork is, but 7 a.m. is, so I don't have to be quiet.
Let's go. That's right.
By the rules,
That's
I don't
right.
have to be quiet.
That's right.
So Ram Jam plays, and I crank up Black Betty, and I wish everybody within more than an earshot, good morning.
That is phenomenal.
But
So
some are
I'm
closer
laying
than
in my
others.
truck, and I went,
You cussed in your mind. That's what you did. You said words you can't repeat on air. That's what,
yes, I did. And then once I got out of my truck and realized what was going on, it was probably one of the best mornings I've had in
Sure.
a long time. Like
Right.
it was a really epic morning. It was a little brisk in the air, but sunny and beautiful. He's
Just
going
blasting.
ape
Yeah.
and blasting and I'm like, and I'm feeling good because I got things are done and I'm ready to go, and now it's just okay. Ribs are gonna go on pretty soon. Like I'm okay.
So-
our chicken's going on. That's what I'm thinking. Like, oh my, woo.
Unofficially, it's also a analogy of like a last dinner bell to any other team person who may have been sleeping in. Like if you're not up by 7, and listen, I have slept through my alarm. I've had people be like dude, we banged on your, because I sleep in the truck usually just an overnight, and like we try to get you. It's been 6:30, and I've gone to, and you know my scores showed it, but yeah, you know, you either have an alarm and have a system, or you stay up, or you do get a couple hours, but you gotta stick to the timeline.
Look,
7:01, Black Betty hits play.
You can't start doing any prep until your meat's been inspected.
Correct.
Okay.
Okay, so like I was behind the 8-ball, and then my torch didn't work. It broke on the way up there somehow. It banged up against something, whatever. So I didn't have a torch. I don't have charcoal. I don't have any fire starters. I don't have anything to get going. I'm cooking with 100% wood, like log splits. Most of 99% of the people in this competition are going to start with charcoal and
do chunks or something,
and do chunks, and because they got smaller pits,
right?
So they don't have to have what I have to have to
All the
cook,
BTUs,
right? Like I mean, I'm going through quarter of a rick to cook, so like they're going through 5 splits that are junked up, like come on. So I'm already behind and it's just me. So I don't remember who was going to come to that comp with me last year but didn't.
I forget.
God, who was going to come?
Tent set up.
Oh,
and then,
I do remember. It was this guy named Derry. He was going to come and cook and didn't. But,
Did you see a buzz he just threw me under?
Yeah.
Like Trent's looking around for it. Like, he didn't want to get hit.
I'm kidding.
I did it.
I'm kidding.
No, you're not.
I'm kidding. Not really. I'm totally serious.
are you cooking this year?
But I am cooking this year in the comp.
When is this?
March 14th, 15th in Lebanon again at
What are you
Smoke
doing
on
the
the
14th,
Shores.
15th?
That's it's on my calendar.
Okay.
I haven't balanced everything out
To
this yet.
be there? Just clarification. Because,
listen, the 15th is my son's birthday.
okay.
And so,
Look, I'm throwing him under the bus. But last
the bus
year,
is getting bigger by the second.
yeah.
Like,
Last year, I invited him, and it was his son's birthday, and they had big plans that he couldn't make it. So
Right.
I wasn't going to.
So-
I hit him with a bus, but I'm not going to roll back over him with it.
2 years ago, my birthday is in May 13th.
okay.
I was here in Murfreesboro at the Dr. George Brown Wilson something Casey Best competition. It was a competitor series. Got 2 calls. Got People's Choice, which they only give 1 for that one. But it was on my birthday.
That's awesome.
So if I can go to a barbecue
killer.
competition on my birthday, you should be able to go for your son's.
I'm sure.
That checks.
It's his 21st birthday. I don't know,
Okay.
I don't know, dad responsibilities for that one.
Yeah, just crack a cold beer, man.
Yeah,
I don't
it's
know
a
if
tough
he's
one.
that guy though.
He doesn't have to be.
I told him a long time ago he can never get into he cannot shotgun beers. Okay. And I'll tell you the background on this. There was a time in my life where I still am undefeated in that. Okay. And I got somehow he heard about it and he was like, yeah, I've never been beat shotgun. I was like, well, pump the brakes. What are you talking about? He goes, well, I shotgun Mountain Dews when I'm at Buddy's house. And I was like, first of all, that's heavy carbonation. That's going to burn on the way down, right? I said, whatever. Nobody's doing
he's
that.
not yakking with all that. Ooh.
He does it. So we step on the back porch and I was like, he beats me. And I was like, you can never do this. He said, what? I said, this is one of those party tricks. And this is my dad moment. You can never get caught up in the, I'll beat you. You can't beat me. I said, you will get in trouble somehow, some way.
Yeah.
I said, but that's impressive. And just
Between us.
between us and that Mountain Dew. And he was like, yeah. And it turns out, and I'm probably going to tell him here that somebody else doesn't know this. It was him and 5 or 6 buddies at some youth group event for church. They were shotgunning Mountain Dews,
wow.
in the sleeping quarters or whatever.
Wow.
So that's how he learned he was good at it. I was like, do not be this kid. And so anyway, that's so I was on my dad duties on the 21st birthday or whatever. And he's probably got plans, and I'm not even gonna be invited. So that's kind of what I'm.
You're gonna shotgun a beer with him?
No, heck no, I will not.
Somewhat similar, but not. So being the youngest of 4, my dad, I could not. So our kids are, our daughter's 7, our son is 9. I could not have been older than 9. Like there's just, my dad's mom, my grandmother had we call it grandma's country house in Venus, Florida. It's kind of on the west. Anyway, we went up there for a father-children trip. We went to the movies Friday night. He made us beanie weenies and baked beans, like straight out of a can. My dad was not even close to a cook at all. It was terrible. We stopped at the convenience store and we kind of didn't know what. After dinner, he pulls out a pack of Marlboro Reds and a buzzer beer. And each of us kids had to smoke a Marlboro Red and drink a Budweiser beer and not refrigerated at all.
Yeah.
And
we are not promoting smoking.
No, we're not. But in a very parental, very impactful way to say, do you like this?
Right, yeah.
And I cannot drink beer. That is I cannot smoke a cigarette.
Well done, Dad. He ruined you on that.
It has some Freudian mindset. And, parenting was different back in the day.
I can blink like my dad, but I can't.
Yeah, I can't drink like it.
Oh, wow. Well, look, before we go to our next segment, which is mac or beans, we're going to take a quick break, and we'll be right back. What's going on, guys? I'm your man, Charlie Eblin, the owner of Single Tree Barbecue, located right here in Murfreesboro, Tennessee, 2805 Old Fort Parkway. We're open Tuesday through Saturday from 11 until 8 p.m. and on Sundays from 11 to 3. If you want some smoked wings all the way to some Texas-style smoked brisket, y'all come see us. We have some amazing lunch specials during the week and outstanding barbecue right here in the Middle Tennessee area. We can't wait to see you guys. All right, welcome back. So we have a segment in our show that we do every time. You may or may not have heard it in previous shows, but it is called Mac or Beans. And so yours is going to be a little different because you own a barbecue joint.
Okay.
So in your own barbecue joint, mac and cheese or beans?
It's mac and cheese because, to be fair, I don't serve what most people call barbecue beans or baked beans. I serve country green beans.
Okay.
Because to me, this is just my own personal, right? We all make I feel like unfairly, and maybe Charlie, barbecue joints are rated on their beans first more than their meats, their ambiance, these beans too sweet, these beans too spicy, they don't have enough meat, they're too runny, they're too thick. And it's beans. You get dinged on beans first. So I said, and it's specifically barbecue beans. So I said, 86 that, I'm out, I'm not playing your games. I will give you country green beans, which I use the pork from in it, and you have to tell me that they're terrible. Maybe one or two people have said they're not for me. You can look on the Google, and now this is what's dumb about business. I get the most reviews about my green beans. I sell the most mac and cheese.
Yep.
Hilarious.
But my green beans are
those green bean people are passionate.
So
they want everybody to know.
There's a little short competition. There is now a KCBS rule for the American Royal because I made such a big stink a couple years ago about green beans being a valid entry for the quote bean category.
If you just say bean category,
because it was considered a vegetable. But I'm talking about 45 minutes with the judges, with the event. Like, it was a whole, and I was told to my face, if I turned in green beans for a bean category, I would be disqualified. And I was irate, and there has since been a rule change because of it. And so it's nicknamed the Blinky rule.
The Blinky rule.
Over green
beans. I love it.
So now that you can't have green beans, or you can?
You cannot. But they have clear definition as to...
Did you compete in the Royal this year?
This past year I was at it. I didn't compete, but the previous year I did. But, it's not in the invitational and the open side. I haven't gotten there yet.
Me either.
But yeah, it was... Oh, man.
My ribs were 77th at last year's Smoke on the Shore.
Listen, man, I'll say this.
See how I threw it out there before you could?
I wasn't gonna say a
You was
word.
waiting.
I was
Don't lie to me.
not.
Don't lie to me.
I referred to them as killer ribs. What are you talking about?
Is there 80 teams?
Last year? Oh, there was 100 last year.
Okay. All right. So that's, I mean, you're not DAL.
It was actually 98, but nobody's
we'll
counting.
take that.
Yeah.
I have been DAL in which is that S last for.
Yeah.
That's just what the acronym is. Because I've been disqualified. I've fortunately never been DAL because of an injury.
Poor food, right? Yeah. Okay.
So, and neither have I, which is amazing because I don't do competition barbecue.
Actually, pause. I just told y'all a lie. And that was the 2 years before my ribs, which I knew did get DAL. But other than that, now that I'm saying that, because somebody can go back and look at the scores, and I do it because I knew, man, they were tough as nails, those ribs. They were terrible. But anyway.
So, are you excited about Smoke on the Shores this year?
I am. Jason Cole and his crew and just everybody and the sponsors that come really, really do a great job. So much that putting on an all-star contest, one of the best run, great venue that, I don't know if you know, but KCBS is hosting for the second time their World Invitational there, which is May 23rd, 24th, something like that weekend after. So the community, the ease, the access, the logic, like everything works up to have a solid championship and a solid area
cool
for competitive barbecue. Actually put an email to see about vending because that's one thing that they're also doing. They're really trying to be public facing this year with some barbecue vendors and stuff like that. So I think it's going to be great. I may or may not be having or splitting up a family vacation if I opt to and get approved of it to vend. I also did ask if I could compete and vend, which I would have a crew, like, as much as it hurts me and as big of a passion that I'd basically set up as a tent team over there, but have the trailer, vending and that. And,
So, along the lines of comps, this was my second Mac or Beans for you.
Okay.
Memphis in May or Smoke Slam?
I suppose that this will be the second year in a row of two eligible that I'm competing in Smoke Slam. I'm going to say Smoke Slam.
Yeah.
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 I'll just go ahead and say it. There's a lot of politics in Memphis in May,
Yes,
in
there
my
is.
opinion, and maybe some fact check that I've seen behind the scenes.
Yeah.
And Memphis in May has the heritage, it has the legacy, it has the championship, right? But two things about it. It's almost a very niche group.
Well, let me ask you this. So, without going into the political side of it, because look, I mean, there's so much politics around those two comps. It's crazy, right? But for people like me and you who are running barbecue businesses, for me, a comp is building community. It's like, I'm excited that you're going to be there.
Yeah.
Right. Like, I was looking at the list of people that are going to be there this year, and I'm super excited about the people that are going to be there. Not about, would it be absolutely amazing to get a call out of that many professional teams?
Correct.
Of course. But like, my barbecue, if I won the comp and brought that trophy home, I would almost feel like I couldn't put that in my restaurant.
Why? See, I would feel pretty much the opposite. Like,
because
then you're judged to this, and then people can point out and say,
well,
"Oh,
not that at all. Like that wouldn't bother me at all. But it's the stuff that I turn in at a comp
Well,
is not what I cook in my restaurant.
Touche. And
so it would be almost like, you want award-winning brisket? You're not getting it here.
well, but here's the thing: hasn't that every other barbecue joint? I think, to my knowledge, Big Bob Gibson, Chris and his family is one of, if not the only one, that quote unquote touts their restaurant recipe is what's turned in.
Look, I've heard that. I've also heard, like, I've heard Slaps does the same thing. You know, they're really the only two that I know that actually compete on a regular basis. Like, I know Carey doesn't cook his hogs like he does in a comp. You know, so like there's most people don't cook the way they do in the restaurant.
For the, you know, general public and people who merit, like, I tell people like this, look, there's three types of barbecue. There's your backyard, cooking with friends and what you do and your own cooker and whatnot. And then there's restaurant or commercial kind of type barbecue. And those two things are closer, quote, than you think, by way of sometimes simplicity, care. Obviously, commercial there's volume involved. Then there's a very distant third option, which is competition barbecue. And competition barbecue, the things that competitors put into postage stamp brisket flats, right? And one rack of ribs, pumping them up. They look like hot dogs. Imagine a raw rack of ribs you see in the grocery store and put a hot dog inside of each bone of the ribs. That's a competition injected rib. We're not doing that at the restaurant.
No.
And yet we have hundreds upon thousands of people who patronize our business, who smile with their eyes when they take a bite into that rib and are incredibly delighted for the product that we turn out on a consistent basis, day in and day out.
How much of that is in your restaurant, or your backyard? You know, he is trying to be consistent. He's trying to make it edible for everybody that's there. Versus the competition, it's that one bite. You know what I'm saying? And so, like, as long as you nail that one, and I've never been to a competition, so I'm not even like claiming to know that world. But, like, you know what I'm saying? Like, you're trying to puff up and get, like you said earlier, 6 slices, one bite. Here's all I need.
Look, it's not just, but it's not just the bite either.
It's texture,
like, it's the way
mouthfeel.
Yeah. And then you get through all of that. Then look, I got dinged so there's 6 judges at a table. Okay. I had 3 judges ding me. 3 separate judges ding me for a speck of pepper being on the flat of the brisket, not on the top where the crust is.
Interesting.
Right? So, like, they gave me great scores all the way across, but then that one speck of pepper that I missed or was carried over to the judging table and rolled, whatever.
Well, you know,
whatever. Right? That, or once I turned it in, it got bustled around a little bit and then it fell out, whatever. Right? But so, I mean, it's nuts.
Yeah. Wow. The consistency for competition cooks, right? Like, past couple of years and even this year, 25. If I do 10 and I'm including like Smoke Slam, I will be at the Jack. Definitely not going to get to compete in it. I'll be at the Royal, either for competing or for good charcoal. I'm there, so the competition weekend, if you will.
Sure.
Anyway, if I do 10 this year, that's going to be a good year for me.
Right.
First coming up would be Smoking the Shores. Then I'll probably roll into South Haven for Spring Fest. Then after that, Smoke Slam, couple sanctioned but competitor series ones around here. And then Murfreesboro, I do 17th Street, which is, my all-time favorite. But it's just such a different, you have to put all this into one bite. Because here's the thing, for the judges, those 6 judges, by rule, they only have to take one bite of your barbecue. Here's what's different. We're 3 men sitting here. If we had 3 exact ribs, I'm talking about weight, everything. Your bite might be different than my bite, than his bite. My bite might be I might take a giant mouthful bite. You might take a nibble. He might take a meat. We don't know.
Right.
So that we're not in control of as a competitive team. So whatever it is, you have to basically punch it with the most that's not offensive, that doesn't suck, and is somewhere in the middle. and a tenderness that is the greatest ones and ones who are consistent, they nail it. Right?
Yeah.
It's a lot of fun.
Yeah.
Hopefully you can make this one if you can.
Right.
We'll have a blast.
And there's-
it is what
And
it
it
is.
still goes back to
We'll learn
that
some
community.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
You got
So-
the guy doing the wake up call. You've got the guy 3 trailers down who last year was DAL, and this year he's looking to make one spot improvement. Like those things.
Oh, yeah.
And that community, that event, the trophy or whatever's cool. I mean, I guess.
I would say this: the barbecue community within competitions or within is, I'm sure some other folks and but Mike Mills is famous for saying this: is you get at a barbecue competition or an event or something, and you get up there and just look around, and his quote is, "I don't see the spaghetti people doing this."
Right. Right.
Like that is, and that's such knowledge, that's such expertise coming from, rest of soul, a pioneer and a veteran in this industry, in this business, because there's a community, literal barbecue, history is about something about a fire draws people together.
Yeah,
for sure.
When you're wood fired barbecue, it's the smell. It's the aspect of it. And so at a competition.
Look, I had 3 people, 3 different teams sitting by my pit last year for 2 or 3 hours that we were just hanging out, talking, watching the fire,
Right.
BSing about this, that, and the other.
That's awesome.
So, well, you got a Friday feel good for us today?
Always.
I love it.
Look, guys, you are going to hit bumps in the road in life. You are going to have people who push back against you. Keep forging ahead. Keep doing what you know to be your best. Don't let somebody stop you just because they can't see your goal. Y'all know what to do. Find somebody you know. Tell them you love them.
Absolutely awesome.
Love that.
Well, Matt, how can people find Blinky's Offset Pit, book Blinky's Offset Pit, get your barbecue,
Real
and
simple.
enjoy life?
Hit the internet, man, social pages, Blinky's Offset Barbecue __ Facebook. I'm here in Nashville. My phone number is blasted all over there. You can reach out to Charlie and he'll give you my number. You can just ask him there. Stop by Single Tree. Make sure you get some of his great barbecue. And don't sleep on the hot sauce either. That's my favorite hot sauce, period.
Hot sauce is pretty tasty.
It's that hot barbecue sauce, man. It's literally what we run is your sauce in competitions if we need a little spicy element to it. So
Makes me happy.
Kudos, brother.
Look, guys, we appreciate you joining us today. If you want to get involved, please feel free to reach out to me at charlie@singletreebbq.com. You can call me at 615-307-0120. Make sure that you subscribe to the YouTube channel, like and share and all the things. And until next time, we'll see you then.
Y'all be good.
peace.
Thanks for joining us today. Make sure you like, share, and subscribe to the channel. And as always, leave us a 5-star review and come see us at the restaurant.